We are here today with Tancredi. If I'm correct, you are a personal trainer for Fit20. Is that right?
Yes. Hello, Lawrence. Thank you for having me. I'm I work for Fit20. I'm a personal trainer there, but I'm also the Brussels studio coordinator. So I supervise our three own studios, which are the one in Châtelain in Ixelles. We have another one in Vilvoorde and another one in Overijse. So I coordinate these three studios, and I also give trainings. So I also coach our members.
Okay. And training and coaching members, I suppose there's always a personal trainer on the location. Is that correct as well?
Yes, that's really one of the particularities of Fit20, that when you are a member there, your sessions are always under the supervision of a coach who's there to guide you, make sure you have a good technique throughout the whole exercises, and adjust the settings of the machines, for example, make sure the intensity is correct and tailored to your physical level so that you can have really the best training experience as possible.
Okay. And those trainers at Fit20, are they any different than personal trainers you can find in other gyms, for example?
Well, I don't know about the other gyms, but I know that at Fit20, we are always looking for coaches who have had already a background in physical education. So they need to have had some studies in that domain. So that's already a plus. And once you decide to join Fit20, before you can start working for Fit20, you're going to have to go through internal formation. So you're going to have to follow some courses so that we are sure that you know what you're doing and that you're suited to really give the best to our members and make sure that you can you know how to adapt accordingly.
Okay, yeah. So you really make sure that those personal trainers really are properly qualified and they get enough training.
Yeah, absolutely. And we always try to keep the training level of the coaches up to date. So regularly they have to do also online courses to keep up with any new material that we might have or any update in the training that might occur.
Okay. So you talked about like online trainings. One thing that online training reminds me of is COVID. And it actually brings me to my next question. Is it possible to train COVID proof and safely at your membership at the gym?
Absolutely. That was actually always a strong suit for us. And it's true that now during the pandemic, it has been even accentuated because Fit20 is a private studio where you have one or two persons training maximum at the same time with the coach. So it's a cozy environment, private environment, where it's also easy to keep now the social distancing of 1.5 meters. If the client wants, they can also leave the mask on because of our training method. It doesn't require that much movement or at least explosive movement. So you can also train with the mask if you feel more safe that way. And the coach can supervise you and he's only going to come close to you for a quick correction if needed. And otherwise, the coach is going to try, of course, to maintain distance. So it's a very safe environment. Of course, the equipment is always cleaned and disinfected and sanitized after each session. And we ask, of course, the clients when they come in to put some gel on their hands to make sure. So hopefully all this will be quickly passed behind us. But for the moment, we are taking all the measures. And in our studio, it's even easier since it's really private and maximum 3 persons at the same time. So when I say 3, it's one coach and 2 clients.
Okay, so it's definitely safe. You really take the proper measurements then.
Absolutely.
All right. So I heard you say that you can train with a mask because the training doesn't require certain things that you would maybe expect the training to require. Can you tell me a little more about what those?
So Fit20 offers a training. It's just 20 minutes actually, but in those 20 minutes, we will try to reach quite a high intensity to really activate and stimulate as much as possible the big muscle groups and activate the metabolic response. But we will achieve that mainly via a slow tempo movement. So it's been proven and shown that it's harder to do an exercise with a slow tempo. It's going to require much more concentration, focus on the right muscle group, and it's going to also activate deeper muscle tissues. The advantage of this slow tempo movement is that you are more easily in control. So technique wise, it's easier to do the exercise and to keep a good and a proper form during the whole movement. We ask our members to breathe normally throughout the whole exercise. And this is going to allow to trigger less sweating because of a more controlled respiration during the whole exercise. Plus, our studios are kept always at a cool temperature of 17 degrees. So we try also to accentuate that. So this is one of the key things during the training. Another really key element is that for each exercise, we try to reach what we call momentary muscle failure, so MMF. That consists in trying to do the exercise for as long as possible. So your body is going to start doing an exercise. At first, it's going to, of course, feel hard, but you can do it. The more repetitions you're going to do, the harder it's going to get. And we try really to push you to the moment where you can no longer keep doing the exercise, at least not with a good form. And so you have to stop. That's going to trigger a nervous and metabolic response that's going to push the muscles to grow mainly in strength and in muscle tone, and eventually also a little bit of muscle growth. And that's really what's going to bring you the benefit of the training.
Okay, so it's really a scientifically proven method that you guys are doing. It's not just regular fitness. It's really using all the knowledge that we have today to provide the best results, I suppose.
Absolutely. Now, I will not give you now the links for all the studies and the researches, but even if you just type on Google and search the benefits of high intensity training, it's been researched. Fully researched and proven that a well done short interval training with a good intensity is much more effective than a long training with a low or medium intensity. So you don't need to go to the gym and sweat and work super hard or work very long for 2 or 3 hours to get the results. Sometimes it's best to condensate the training and have a good quality. So the quality, I'd say, it's key. And that's why it's important to train also with a coach who can assure that you're really working with the best quality throughout the whole training.
Okay. So imagine I come to Fit20. It's my first, second, third training there. What can I expect? What kind of exercises will I be doing there?
So maybe I'm going to take a little step back just to explain the process when you discover Fit20. We always invite the clients or the potential clients to come and discover, because we know it's a particular concept. So we always invite the clients for a 40-minute introductory session. This gives us the time to talk with the person, get to know her a little bit, discuss about the goals, maybe eventually the health issues that they might have, or anything specific we have to take in consideration. Then we explain in detail how Fit20 works. And then we give a short session to really get a feel of the training. So this is really the first step to discovering Fit20. Once you're a member, we schedule a weekly session. Usually it's on a fixed day and hour, because most people prefer like this, but we are very flexible agenda-wise. And so you will probably train always with the same coach, which is also an advantage because the coach gets to know you better and better, and he can really tailor the session every week. And the session, like I said, is 20 minutes. And it's a circuit where you will move from one exercise to another with very little short time to really keep the intensity as high as possible. We're going to trigger the main muscle groups, but it's always going to be a total body workout. So we'll be triggering the big muscle groups, the chest, the back, the legs, the glutes, the core. So we try really to have a full body workout. And every time working with this technique that I said, with a slow tempo and reaching or trying to reach this momentary muscle failure.
Can you still hear me? Because okay, perfect. I was frozen for a minute. No,
it froze a moment, but now we're back online.
Okay. Are there different, for example, if one person wants to gain some muscle and the other person wants to lose some weight, for example, do they have different schedules? Are you going to do different exercises with them, or do you have the same standard exercises at Fit20?
So I would say that Fit20 philosophy is, first of all, to improve quality of life. So the main goal is really to make the person feel better physically, but also mentally, to be able to get a little bit of energy out. And so the structure is the same. Now, depending a little bit on the person's motivation, on their goals and everything, we can adapt some exercises. What we're going to particularly be careful with is if there are prior injuries. So we're going to adapt the positions on the machines, maybe work with more intensity on one exercise and a little bit less intensity on another exercise. So that's really what's going to make the session, tailored and individualized. But it's true that the structure stays the same then, and with the main goal being active and improving the overall strength and stamina and energy level.
Okay. So I would just say that the most important thing actually that you focus on is to improve the quality of life mentally and physically. Would you say that's really the main goal of Fit20?
Fit20 is not a short-term program. We like to say that Fit20 is for life. So the goal of Fit20 is really to become part of your life, making people able to move again, to be pain-free and to feel the difference in everyday activities. I take the example of clients or members who start with us and they're complaining because they have lower back pain, or because when they go up the stairs, they arrive on top and they're already out of breath. And after a couple of months with us, they start noticing these little differences, which are little differences, but actually are big difference because it's everyday things. And so now they say that when they go gardening, when they're finished, they no longer have that lower back pain, and that they can climb 10 flights of stairs, no problem, or that they can go grocery shopping and go home with those big bottles of water, and before they couldn't do it, things like that. So these are a little satisfaction also for us when you hear these little success stories.
Okay, yeah. So you're really improving lives over the long term. It's actually a great goal.
Absolutely.
I've also taken a look at your website, and I've read a lot of ebooks already that Fit20 has published, and one of the things I saw in there was mindful training. That you guys talk about, that you do mindful training. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that concept actually means? What mindful training is?
Well, it's the concept is really about. It reconnects a little bit to what I just said, that it's not a matter of just coming and training, it's a matter of lifestyle. So we hope that Fit20 is also going to be an input to taking in consideration also other aspects. Of course, Fit20 is a great solution to be active and stay healthy, but it has to come with other things like taking care of your nutrition, being generally active, maybe doing more walking and things like that. And it's also, while you're training, focusing on your breathing, and all these aspects need to be applied also in your daily routines. So it's really trying to work on a whole of the body, the mind, and the overall attitude that the person is going to have towards being active and being healthy.
Okay. And who are the people that usually come to Fit20? Would you say, do you have a certain type of demographic that you see reappearing, or is there a very big variety in the people who come there?
I'd say it ranges really from quite young. I think one of our youngest members is 18 or even 17 years old. And then we have clients all the way to 80 years old. Okay, the advantage is that we can really adapt. Since the goal is to have a high intensity training, the intensity is going to feel high for everyone, but of course it's not the same for everyone. I explain maybe a little bit better for a person who is used to training and has maybe a little bit higher physical level. He's going to be working with a certain weight. I invent 50 kilos, for example, and that's going to be feel tough for him. The same exercise for another person is going to be done with just 15 kilos, for example, or 10 kilos, and but it's still going to feel heavy. And so that's the advantage, that we can have really a full spectrum of person training. It can be youngsters, a little bit more advanced in age, women, men. As long as the goal is to be active and stay healthy, everyone is welcome at Fit20.
Okay, great. So imagine I decide I want to go to Fit20. You already talked about we're going to have a 40-minute introductory session to see if it's something that I would like. Are there any other preparations or things I need to do before coming to Fit20, or is it just those 40 minutes intake session and we go from there?
No, it's very simple. You can book a session online on our website, tryfit20.be, and there you can find all the different locations where you can book a session. Okay. You book it online, and then you automatically receive a confirmation email with the address of the studio, the confirmation of the time that you scheduled. You also receive a reminder the day before your session. And then once you come to your introductory session, the coach is going to welcome you, show you the studio. Like I explained, he's going to explain about the concept and ask you questions about your personal life, knowing to try to get to know you better. And after that, if Fit20 is something that suits you, then we can talk about the regular sessions. But you don't need to bring anything particular. You can even train in your everyday clothes because you're not going to be sweating and the movements are done in a controlled way. You don't need necessarily to change and be in a sports clothes. So that's also an advantage for people who may be very busy or who want to come, for example, during their lunchtime. They can come, have their 20-minute sessions, and then right away get back to the office.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks a lot for your time. I really feel like I've gotten a great view of what a Fit20 workout is like.
Perfect. Thank you for asking, and I hope everyone wants to try Fit20.